Today is October 27th. Chronic problems aren't as bad as they usually are, except for my ankle, the left ankle, which was broken. It's kind of bad at the moment. I've been using it in an awkward position lately, getting in and out of the car. I don't do well in small cars. I'm trying to, get in and out. I'm obviously not a very small guy, so it is what it is. But so my ankle is hurting a lot more than usual. But that's not really something I can do much about, so I'm not going to complain about it. So there's that. There's also some other collateral damage. I've hyperextended my elbow due to also being in a little car, but whatever. It is it is what it is. So the house is, it's not sold, but it's under contract, so we'll see how that goes. They want to be in here before Thanksgiving, which may be doable. It may be doable. So we're still looking for housing. More seriously now, though. So it looks like it's an apartment. Going to be apartment time. I have mixed feelings about that. So we'll see how it goes. Let's see what else is going on. Mom's leg continues to not heal. Had to extend the time of wearing the boot. It should have been off this weekend permanently, but it's been reassigned for additional weeks, and the incision site is not healing still, at least not as well as it ought. So to that end, I suggested a couple of ointments to try. So I am becoming more concerned about it. Obviously, else I wouldn't have suggested an ointment. But still, could be worse, I suppose. As far as anything in the news, the Sophia, the robot, in Saudi Arabia, she gained citizenship. This robot, it's designed to interact with humans better, so it has facial movements and inflections in its voice, and it can try to mimic human emotions and this kind of thing. I think it's a terrible idea, and it falls in uncanny valley, so it is creepy as can be. But yeah, they granted this robot citizenship. Interestingly, though, the robot does not have to have a hijab on, or a veil, or be escorted around by a guardian, or any of these things which are typical with a female in Saudi Arabian society. So, does this robot have more rights and liberties than a human female in Saudi Arabia? I think so. And isn't that a sad commentary on humanity? Where the robot is more revered than the human. Well, special exception, I guess, but still, I don't know. I say if you're going to be a medieval, backward, bumbling society, be one all the way. As far as I can tell, there has been no progress since the Bronze Ages with these people. I mean, it's whatever. I could go on for a while about that topic, so I'm not going to. So instead, I'm going to say that I think that granting a robot citizenship rights is probably a step in the wrong direction. There's been lots of horror movies and sci-fi movies about this very topic. And yeah, I don't know. Things could get out of hand quickly if they're allowed to. But needless to say, maybe I've watched too many horror movies about sci-fi stuff. For instance, if you ever watched Forbin, the Colossus Project, you'd know precisely what I mean. Or Terminator, or any of those types of AI gone mad movies. Then I guess one could cite by the Robin Williams movie. This is the Bicentennial Man, which I also thought was a really terrible idea. Giving emotions to a robot, they should have fixed that immediately. Allowing very powerful things to be emotionally chaotic is not a good idea. Speaking of which, they have written some code. These computer muckety mucks, they're very advanced programmers, etc., writing up some AI. And so they wrote this AI program to help them write AI programs. So they wrote their best program. They've been working on it for years and years, and they gave it to this AI that they wrote, and it spit back code. But the code, it was much shorter, and it recognized objects in its environment much quicker and much more correctly than the code that they wrote over years, when this machine just wrote it in a short amount of time. So if that's the case, then if AI can write AI, could then AI write AI that could write AI that could write AI, and it continue to snowball? Well, we'll see. I, for one, welcome our new machine overlords. Oh, boy. Well, anyway, I do have a project this week. Ooh. Not that anybody cares particularly, but it's a recipe that I thought was quite tasty, and it's seasonal. So, go ahead and give it a try. And I will see, well, maybe not next week, depending on what goes on with the moving. I will see you when I see you. So this is what we're going to be needing for the apple cider spice drink of doom. We're using Talbot's apple cider. This is just filtered. It's about as plain as you can get. I'm using the peel of the whole lemon, but trying to avoid the pith as much as possible, the white bit that's underneath the skin. But we want to get the most of the skin, so I'm going to be using a carrot peeler to just get the skin off only. Then we'll be using about a tablespoon of molasses, probably about 1/4 teaspoon of ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 3 cloves, and about 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. And this is all going to be 4 cups of the cider in the pan. We'll bring that up to heat. I don't happen to have an apple, but normally I would slice an apple into thin slices, probably about 4 or 5, probably 5, to then float in here and cook slightly so that it absorbs some of the cider flavor and imparts some more appley flavor. But we don't happen to have any at the moment, and I've got to put this video up, so it is what it is. So I will get the lemon peeled and the apple cider measured out, and we'll meet back there. Alright, so the molasses is in the pot, and we're bringing it up to a slow boil on medium. And the lemon peel, as you can see, I put the cloves partially through the lemon peel so that it makes it easier to find them when it comes time to serve up the drink. You're not hunting down little pieces of cloves all over the place. So we just have all the spices here, which I'm going to put in now, and the lemon slices. Ideally, if I had it, I'd use a little bit of maple syrup as well. Give it a little bit more sweetness, plus that mapley flavor to go along with the lemon. Would really brighten this up a lot. But there again, make do with what you got. So I will show you the finished product right now. So here it is, boiling away on a low boil. I'm going to pass it through this sieve and coffee filter combination so that it can strain out some of the particulate matter, like the nutmeg grounds and that sort of thing, so it's a little bit of a cleaner product when it's in the cup. There's no residual stuff on the bottom of the glass when you empty it out, because you can't exactly gulp this. This is definitely a sipping drink, so you don't want to have it all settle to the bottom and just kind of look a little muddy. So this will help that. I'd also float some of the apple slices on top of the glasses, but since we don't have those, we'll just make do. So here is what the end product looks like. Of course, with the lid off, it's going to be reduced somewhat in volume, but if you don't want that, it concentrates the flavor more this way. But if you're not looking for that, I guess you could water it down a little, whatever. But anyway, it's quite tasty, so give it a shot and let me know what you think in the comments.